Okay, hey guys, today I have a updated deck list for my White Forest deck. It's been a little bit of time since my last White Forest video. I think it was the, excuse me, it was the how-to masterclass type video. Um, there just hasn't been a lot for me to really, I guess, add on to since, because not a lot has changed in the format since Alliance Insight has come out. And but I think I wanted to spend a bit of time like workshopping my list and see what I wanted to work with, and see what I think might be the most effective in this meta. I think that the deck will look slightly different. It's still, for the most part, the same old, but there are a number of changes that I made, and I'll go through some of my thought process. So to begin with, tried and trusted 3LZ. I'm still playing one of Stellar. So I'm playing a list where I'm trying to keep my list as low as possible. I feel like this format is it's heavily dependent on very specific types of non-engine. So against like Malice, it's going to be very hard if you don't draw like specifically Lancia or maybe a Chaos Angel. And against Mitzi Raziel, if you don't draw like Perulia or Droll. And also these hand traps, they don't work against both decks very well. So you kind of have to focus on what you're trying to do. So I'm trying to keep my list down. I believe I'm playing 41 in this list. But yeah, and so one Azamina LZ still just only need her at one. But yeah, it's one of those things, and I think I've seen a number of lists play 42, 43, 44, even 45. I think those lists are good too. I haven't tested those as much, and I don't know, I just feel like right now in this specific format, I want to have it a bit lower, and I want more consistency. But yeah, so 3 Sylvie, that's obvious best normal summon, and then 1 Diabells. And then that's it for the monsters. I'm not playing Rusia. It's one of the cards I've cut. I think she's nice to have, and she's good going second, I think, into boards where you can like use her as an extender to make plays, and your opponent has to interact with it, and then you can keep playing. But I think right now it's not 100% necessary to play her. So I'm playing 3 of the field spell. I think this is, at the end of the day, you just need more consistency. And I think if we're not going to play more Sinful spoil stuff, and we have a couple more bricks in the deck, this card is, I think you need to play at 3. 1 Tails, it's still important for the synchro climbing without locking yourself out of darks. Sinful spoils of the White Forest, which becomes, I think, even more important, especially in my build. And Woes. So Woes is one of my favorite White Forest cards. I don't know why anyone ever cuts it. It's like the best card into Fulos and Perulia and even Droll, when you have like a Sylvie plus LZ or plus an extender. Like Woes is always my first search, because like if I get Drolled, I'm like, we're cooked. But then 1 Diabell Star Vengeance, 1 Diabell Star, and then 3 Wanted, 1 Deception, 1 Hollowed. And then I'm trying this out. I'm trying out the Silvera. This isn't as good for recursion for the deck, but like, and I say that as in this is something I put in instead of Sinful Spoils Morian. But I think this card it's a little bit stronger to just set it off of Diabell Star, especially under Droll. And I think it's just one of those things that I'm trying out right now. Also, when it's in the graveyard, it's basically like a negate for anything that your opponent activates. So here's something you can do. If you can end up getting this into the graveyard, Like, this is a very, very niche combo. So this is not like something you'd be able to do often. But hypothetically, if you went LZ, pitch, so this, Silvera, then you searched, and you also had a wanted in hand. On res, because you're turn player, you can do quick effect, chain link 1, wanted, and then if they try to draw you, you can chain this in the graveyard because it says, if your opponent activates a card or effect in response to your Diabell star monster effect or Sinful spoil spell or trap card effect or spell or trap card or effect activation, you can banish this card from the graveyard and negate that effect. So that's kind of funny, but yeah, they're just, you know, it's a very niche way to stop draw, and it's not something you'll be able to do often, but you know, it's something you can do. But it's an imperm, or not an imperm, it's just a on-field negate. Otherwise, so I am playing these cards. I really don't want to, and I think whether I keep these cards in right now or it's to be determined. It's just really tough because either I'm getting drolled or I'm getting charmied, right? That's basically the things that you fear in this deck. And if I get more charmied, especially like Fulos, this is really nice because I can search Diabell's the White Witch. I can summon it, send this, search this, search Vengeance, and then summon Vengeance, and then not give him a draw, and I have a very powerful interaction. The issue is that if my opponent has Droll, this is really bad. If my opponent has Fulos, this is really good. It's just one of those, you know, it's really tough. And right now, Fulos is in everyone's main deck, and many people are even maining Perilia as well. It's really tough, but I think I'm going to try this for now, but yeah. And then last two cards, I think you need these right now in the main. Cross Out and Call By, they're just really, really needed. Droll really hurts this deck. There's a couple ways you can play this deck to play around, you know, Droll, or to make it so you can, you know, set up as much as possible. You can main deck Thrust, which I'm not maining anymore because of other non-engine that I feel like I have to main to have a decent chance into the meta. But yeah, those are going to be solid. So, and then non-engine, I'm playing 3 Ash. That's, I think, standard, especially just for Charmies. And it's just, it does stuff. It's not going to end people's turn, but, you know, it's still a strong card. Maining 3 Fulos. Just, I think this card needs to be in the main now, because you need to have cards that stop your opponent from playing. And speaking of which, 2 Droll. And I'm playing 2 Nib. Nib's okay, but you have to pair it, in my opinion, so it's not insane. And then last 3 is Imperm. Imperm's also, it's okay. It's not insane, but it's nice having more spells and traps in the deck to send, because, you know, now that we're not playing Thrust, we have just a bunch of monster non-engine, so keeping the Imperm, I think, is definitely solid. And it's a trap that you can banish with Vengeance, so to summon Vengeance. For the extra deck, still the same one-ofs. Yep, White Forest cards, one of each, probably going to be the same until the end of time for White Forest. But then 1 Poplar of the White Forest, which is now standard. 1 Vengeance, Snake Eye Vengeance Dragon, very strong card, something that this or that the Poplar helps you go into now. And yeah, it's very cool. Also, but you have to keep in mind that its interruption is like once every other turn. So if you use it the next turn, like if you use it on your turn, then you can't use it on your opponent's turn. You can only use it when it comes back to your turn, though. So yeah, important to keep that in mind, so you don't like end up using it to break a board and then just leave it on field thinking you have an interruption. But no, it's dead until the next turn. Then I have 1 Chaos Angel because it's just really strong. I don't make it a lot in this deck, but you can fairly easily. So for the Azaminas, I believe I'm running every single one. So St. Azamina, Regina, Murcielago, Ilya Sylvia, the Omni Negate, and I'm playing the new Azamina and then Soul for board breaking. So I think Azamina, this card specifically, is too good not to play right now. It's your ability to just break boards and OTK people is so much higher with Azamina in your deck. One thing you can do, if you have Hollowed plus Wanted, it's an absolutely insane like combo, because you can go Hollowed, Chain Wanted, search Diabell Star Vengeance, send both to summon Saint Azamina. Then depending on what you want to do, if you're afraid of Nib, you can do certain things. If you're, depending on the kind of interactions you're worried about, you can maybe summon Mo Regina, get the Reborn effect. But one thing you can do is you can use player priority, summon Ilya Sylvia, and then when this is summoned, you can tribute the Saint Azamina and one of your opponent's monsters for Azamina. And then with Ilya Sylvia and Azamina on the field, Ilya Sylvia gives your other Azamina monsters double damage, so this can just one hit for 8k if they only have one monster on the field. If they have two, you'll end up tributing one of their monsters for the summon of this, and then Ilya Sylvia can maybe attack over another one, and then one hit with Azamina. Also, just even if you can't OTK with it, it's just good to break boards. So another thing you can do is you can summon Mo Regina instead, then tribute the Saint Azamina for Azamina and one of your opponent's monsters, and then Mo Regina summon back the Saint Azamina, and then attack for game with a 3,700 or what am I saying? 4,000 and 3,000 bodies. You can also use Mo Regina to clear boards if you have other Azamina or Sinful Spoil card effects, and then Saint Azamina attacking something that you don't even need to attack over, that just has high attacker defense and do more damage. So it's really strong cards, and it's even more versatile now. I'm playing one Guardian Chimera and one Doom Dragon because these are just good options. I think Doom Dragon is honestly it's probably not needed. It's really nice. It just helps solidify games even more. But there are a couple, game states where you will summon like a Poplar, and then you'll put 2 cards back, and then summon this, push one of your opponent's monsters back, then summon Vengeance, then push another one of their monsters back, and just really taking control of the board. So it's still solid and still definitely worth playing. But whether it's, I feel like this is creeping towards the win more category, but I still like playing it though. And then 1 SP. It's nice to have this versatility in your extra deck. I think having like one of your, I don't know, level 2 or level 4 monsters, and like having like a Murcielago, or I don't know, maybe like a Silvera or Arceus that you aren't planning on synchroing into a level 8 with, going into this, I think is still very strong. So, and it's a nice option to have for breaking boards too. So I'm not gonna show a side deck right now because I don't have one fully prepared, but I think that cards like Prulia, Lancia, what was it? You can play Meows if you want. I'm a little hesitant of playing Meows in this deck because that's just a little too many monster cards, and you need to have you need to have spells and traps in this deck for it to work, which is one of the reasons why I don't really want to play that many monster hand traps. So, but we're in a format where spells and traps, or excuse me, where monster hand traps are kind of needed, and thrust is okay but not insane. So yeah, so that's gonna be it for the profile. I'm just gonna put this back in order real quick. Yeah, if you have any thoughts or questions or anything you want to bring up in the comments, feel free to do so. There are cards like Foolish Burial Goods. There's a new card that you can play called Dragon's Mind, that you can play with Foolish Burial Goods to to help insulate your boards even more. You can mix it with cards like what's it called? Black Goat's Laughs, the Black Goat Laughs. There's a lot of different ways that you can play this, and you can play 40, 41 cards, you can play 44, 45, it just depends on what you want. But yeah, so that's it for the update for now, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.